Hello everyone, welcome back. Andre here, and today I will show you how to add some real magic to your chord progressions by using extremely simple chords. As a matter of fact, we're only going to use major and minor chords, and in these positions here, which we all know, 5 strings minor and major, and then 6 strings minor and major. That's all you need. This will be a strictly practical lesson, so we won't get into all the theory, but there is a name behind this concept and behind these chords, and they're called the mediant chords and the sub-mediant chords. Very simply, the mediant chord is the third. It basically divides from root to fifth in equal parts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And because we're only going to be working in the key of C, both major and minor, our mediant will always be either an E flat or an E. And the submediant is the chord that divides into equal parts from the root to the fourth going down. So it's root, seventh, sixth, that's our submediant, and then fifth and fourth. And again, in the key of C, which we'll be working on today, it's always going to be an A flat or an A. So even if you don't want to think about mediant and submediant, all you need to remember is, okay, I'm in the key of C, and we're going to explore what to do with the E chords and with the A chords. And that's it. We're going to begin exploring this concept by starting with maybe the simplest chord of all, C major. This is going to be our starting point, the 1. And if you're in the key of C major, you would expect your third chord, the E, to be minor. C, E minor. Is the diatonic progression. So in the key of C major, this is what you'll get. 1 and minor 3. And we're all kind of familiar with this, but here's the trick. With mediant chords, you can take any third, so it can be either an E or it could also be an E flat, and you can make them either major or minor, and they will all work in different ways but beautifully against the 1. If my C major to E minor is the sound I'm used to, what happens if I change the E minor to E major? Because it's an E, it's mediant, so I can try it. Let's check it out. C major, E major. Very different sound, but it sounds great. You know, it's the strange thing. But let's make it even stranger. Let's try an E flat. And again, I can make it either minor or major. Let's stick with major for a second. Let's play C major to E flat major. Now, if you know about music theory, E flat major doesn't make any sense in C major, but check it out. It's a different feel. This sounds very uplifting and hopeful. You could also do now E flat minor, which again doesn't make any sense in the key of C major. It has a bunch of flats, but let's try it. Very different feel. You notice that I repeat it twice, because when we start hearing something that sounds very at ease and we go into stranger things, our first reaction is, oh, that sucks, I don't want to hear that, right? But if we just let it sit within our ear for a second, we start hearing the good about that progression. So if I play it a couple of times, it's because I just need your ear to kind of erase what's before and get used to the new stuff. So hear it again, C major to E flat minor. You can also change. Sometimes how we play a chord is also as important as what chord we play. So that's our thirds starting from C major. But how about C minor? Well, we can do the same thing. So that's already 4 chords. We're going to add 4 more. And in the key of C minor, our diatonic chord, so the chord we would expect to have, is E flat major. This is the progression we would expect to hear in C minor. But again, we're going to explore all the mediant chords, all the thirds. So we're going to go with all the E flats and all the E's, major and minor, and see what they sound like. So again, the first one, C minor, E flat major, is the diatonic one. Okay, this is what we expect to hear. Now let's make this chord minor. So C minor, to E flat minor. Let's check it out. Very moody. Kind of mysterious in a way, kind of ambiguous too. It's not sad per se, it's a bit stranger than that. And now let's move up to the E natural. So we're gonna play C minor to E minor. Let's see how that works. Now you can start hearing it, right, after a couple of repetitions. It's a bit more mysterious, this one, isn't it? And then we're going to go from C minor to E major. Again, this should be kind of weird because they have so many different notes that are unexpected, but let's check it out. One more. You can hear it now, right? I love this because the E major kind of evens out or smooths out the sadness of the minor. So minor is very down and the E major is very up, and together so that's our thirds, starting from C major, all possible E's and E flats, so it's 4 chords, and then we went from C minor to the same mediant or E and E flats and checked out the sound. These are our mediant relationships. Now we can do the same thing, but instead of going up a third, going down a third, which takes us to the sixth, which takes us to the submediant. And again, there's submediants that are part of a key, so those are the usual ones, the ones we are used to, and those are the diatonic ones, but then of course there's going to be 3 more of each that will be basically out of key. So let's start again from C major. I'm going to move up here to the 6th string, just so we have enough room to go down. And in C major, the A or the submediant that we expect is A minor. So C major, A minor is the perfectly regular and normal chord progression. That's what you expect in the key of C major. That's our starting point. Let's see how things can differ if we use the submediant chords. So the first one I would suggest is we try making this major. Instead of C major to A minor, let's do C major to A major. Let's see what happens. Very hopeful, right? It sounds very bright, very sunny, friendly to listen to. There's also a lot of power in how you strum them, of course. Now let's bring that A down a half step to A flat and see what happens. Let's start with the major one, so C major to A flat major. It sounds very normal actually, but it's not. It has an A flat, it's got an E flat. You know, a bunch of these notes don't make sense in the key of C, but it does work very well. Again, very bright, very sunny sounding. And now let's make that A flat minor, which makes even less sense, and see what that sounds like. C major to A flat minor. This is kind of cool. Again, it can be very cinematic, this one. And it's kind of the opposite of when we did C minor to E major, when they were kind of basically canceling each other out. I find it very interesting, a bit harder maybe to pull off in a regular chord progression. And now let's go from C minor instead of C major to all the same submediants, and let's see what happens. In the key of C minor, which is here, the A chord we would expect, the diatonic one, the one that fits the scale, is A flat major. So if I play C minor to A flat major, it sounds absolutely normal. There's nothing strange about it. It's the sound we associate with the minor key. So now let's mix it up, and let's maybe start by making this chord here minor. So C minor to A flat minor instead of A flat major, and see what it sounds like. Beautiful. Very interesting sound. I love the minor sounds, and this is way minor, right? It's much more minor than it would be diatonically. And now let's move the A flat up to A natural, and which doesn't make sense again for many reasons. And let's do C minor to A minor. Like that. It actually sounds smoother than it should, because minor chords 1.5 steps apart, they're not very common. And now finally let's make it C minor to A major, which again shouldn't make much sense, but let's see what it sounds like. I love this one. Now if you explore these chords, you'll notice that there's contradictions, like C minor, of course, has a C, and the A major has a C sharp. Then there's a bunch of flats down here where we're in the key of C major, which shouldn't be there. And you can actually go quite deep with this. I just showed you 16 chords that you can use against a single chord. It should be pretty interesting if you are into music theory to go in and see, well, how can I make this chord fit? Maybe there is a scale, maybe there's a harmonic minor or a melodic minor scale, or some of their modes that will allow you to use these strange combinations. The beautiful thing about this video is that you can kind of ignore all that and just know that starting from a major chord or from a minor chord, you have all these options. So I hope you enjoy this and have fun with it. Please let me know in the comments below what you come up with. If you come up with some really cool chord progressions, please share them with us or use them for your next big hit. And I look forward to seeing you very soon. I hope you can maybe like the video and subscribe if you learned something new. You can check out my Patreon. There's links below. And as always, I'll see you very soon for more.